the map. And they're coming out here with a Sova too, which is slightly interesting, especially considering that we don't know how long they've been practicing with Zest.
Well, here we go. Pistol round about number one. Already seeing that Euro come out.
Yeah, immediately teleporting over to B.
Yeah.
That was just off a bit of a peek into A main, but they might have pulled the trigger just a little too early there because now they're starting DRX to take A control off the back of the Sova drone.
It looks like a bit of an A split just being set up. Obviously, Suchny just holding that angle, that position. This IGL who's come in as a new addition for BBL, hoping to bring the extra level, the next evolution for this team because BBL full of talent.
Definitely. Recon Dart back online at possibly the perfect moment.
That's a great time for it. Yeah, the knife is going to get it suppressed going, moving forwards through the cloud burst, and that's going to be spotted. Beautiful little reveal there. And a lovely flash on top of it through the back. Still, it's going to be just the 2-for-2. Kusha into the back of the site. Trying to lay claim. Take out a couple of these players, but RB left standing. 140 health now. Has spotted just the one player. With a not in a great spot. Flick of the wrist. You've got to be joking.
What a way to announce yourself on the stage at lock-in. That's a monster clutch from RB.
It's ridiculous.
Really difficult to win that one as well. Two players that can just face him at the same time and he flicks around. So precise there with the Ghost.
Yeah.
What a Red Bull clutch.
RB, over the course of his career as well, has kind of just evolved into this bit of a flex player, honestly. Just fills in the gaps of whatever DRX need with their compositions.
Definitely true. And a player that's been under a lot of criticism prior to Champions for not really turning up on the big games. It's hard to say where do the big games begin at lock-in. Every game's, every by the look of it, is going to rely really a lot on Kushner.
And how well he can sync up with the rest of his team, obviously the breach as well.
And make the reads on where the play is going and whether he can rotate to bolster the defenses in time.
Yeah. Drone used on the corner there. Bit of space gain now, but remember, a bit of a weaker buy, just the eco. BBL, Brave is holding up close and personal. It's going to have to get a lot of work done, honestly, for them to stand a chance. One kill, but instantly traded.
Aslan not checked in this position,
not checked at all. Look at him, still up close behind the box. An opportunity. Yeah, well, the angle's being held anyway. Did stop and deny that plan, and he's bought time for the rest of his team to come back in to this one. Stun as well in play. Buzz just has to back away in for but a moment, but just two players left standing. This point just going to be most likely playing exits or just trying to go down to that spike.
DRX very firmly in control of the beginning of this, but we have yet to see any of the crazy stuff that BBL have surely cooked up for some of these gun rounds.
That's what you think, right?
They must do.
I see this comp and it just gives me flashbacks to PaperX playing it on Bind, you know, something similar at least.
Well, where the PaperX Yoru on Bind was very aggressive, very in your face, always forced you to react to it. I think that Pearl might be too big of a map to be able to run that kind of style. But I am intrigued to see what game plan he's got. It seems like, just from a theoretical point of view, you get most value just from using rotate gate crashes, but that doesn't sound interesting enough to just go for it as a pick. I feel like they've got something planned that we haven't thought about. And yeah, if you just
to showcase it, isn't it?
Brent, if you just want another reason to root for DRX or think that they're going to be able to take this one and avoid the upset, never lost a map in their opening series at a VCT event. They are just hyper consistent.
So consistent. Most people have them going quite far in this event. See the beginning of this one now with the rifles in the hand of the BBL players. What can they cook up now? Nothing too out of the ordinary. You can see that gate crash is going all the way, slipping into the back of their spawn. Over towards A.
And there's a turret here that'll take contact with Suchny maybe droning off it. Certainly the nanoswarm popping so that they can halt the advance through art.
But just an exchange of that utility for now.
But Kushin has already read the play. I mean, they have 5 players able to respond to this A split if it does come through. And the Killjoy is giving them good utility through B link. Good information there. Turco knows that he doesn't have to be too worried.
Flash play comes down, wall dropped as well. Very similar to the prior round, the same play being made. Dash across, Buzz is deep within the site, but it is being covered again into the back of the side. The BBL players more than ready to hand it to them, but Mako, what is that? From the jaws of defeat, just pulls out 2 miraculous kills.
And not an expression on his face. I mean, just another day at the office for Mako.
Left down to 5 health, but he's bought his team a lifeline in this round with the 2 of them alive. Going to be rotating all the way back. Now over towards B.
And this is where things get sticky, and this is where DRX are starting to understand how BBL are playing, because with those, I guess you could say almost a 5-player stack over on A, as the hit came through, they realized that B is just completely open and that they can go back here. And this almost looks like a save round for BBL, but I think they'll give it a good college try. See if they can find a pick early on. But otherwise, it would be devastating to lose both of these rifles.
How do they want to play this one? Mako is close onto this corner. It's all about how you clear it. And that's a good covering fire. RB swings at the precise moment to set up that crossfire. Not giving any easy targets still. Players are low enough, but a pre-fire is going to reveal the positioning in the footsteps. Makes it more than clear for Mako to clean up. What a round by him. This guy, a true animal.
Yeah, Mako is an absolute beast. Definitely one of the best players of 2022, and I would put the house on him being a consistent superstar player for DRX in 2023 as well. He's just always there. I mean, look at the face. There's no reaction to these plays happening. They're all just expected. Yeah. He just is so cool, calm, and collected in every moment. And that's the bonus round converted for DRX. Even when BBL had a good read on the site hit coming through and crushed a lot of it, still not able to convert the round.
Stun pushing them back for just a moment, but yeah, the guns not too ideal on BBL's side. I want to see them cook up something special, honestly. Take a couple of risks now that you're running, a bit of a weaker buy. Why not?
Do you want to see them use the Euroworld?
I'd love to see them try and cook something up. Seriously,
I'm not sure this is the round for it.
Maybe if an opportunity presents itself, but for now it's very passive play. Obviously looking to contain in mid, where that's where all their players are, pushing up with the drone as well. I wonder if that's going to be heard by RB, who was holding the flank. But just contact plays.
And DRX are getting some great information off of this. The fact that nobody's here, nobody's home.
Knife is good. Stun to try and disrupt that as again, the back of Hawes was just being cleared out. You can see Stacks now going for the plant out in the open, facing away just in case a flash does come over the side. That Hawes control going to be very important to hold on to. Buzz at a slight off angle now.
And it's a really open plant too. That's going to be interesting if they try that in the gun rounds as well. Wow. But the crossfires and the better weapons here are just going to be way too easy for DRX to clean up.
Yeah, very fast reactions from Buzz to be able to dodge that flash coming through. That is that Prime Gaming flawless.
And I'm wondering, Bren, whether DRX are now going to have a bit of a read that B is open and that they can just walk on in. Because you saw DRX, they had no resistance to be able to get in onto the site there. They planted in a really open spot where they can play post plants from all over the place. So do they try that again? And, crucially, does Kushner try to stop them? Because in the previous round, he was using his gate crash a little bit like a chamber TP, where he's playing much more pushed up. In fact, here he comes to play B again. He wasn't there at the start.
Yeah, this time no breach stun to slow down these players, but there we go, okay.
Wow.
Dimensional drift going to be popped off here.
And that's just
aware of this, just getting some information, essentially just a human drone. Just seeing if you can spot out and using the ult for that information.
But the question from DRX is, where's he gone? Because he could have gate crashed over to A, or he could have gone to B. And look, that information is prompting a double push out of A. So now if DRX try to return back to the opposite side of the site, they're going to meet Sojny and Turco. And RB nearly did.
Yeah. Good discipline though, not to bite off a little bit too much there. RB didn't recontest the fight.
But now it's the perfect response from DRX. They know that there's 2 players on the flank. Max 3 people here, just shove it into B.
Oh, look at Kushner, he can't even stand still. There's a pull on one side, a dart on the other. Has to back away, and the pincer maneuver right there. Brave just cannot withstand it. Bit of a sour blind there by Kushner, but still claims the kill, not before being traded out, and the spike will go down without too much trouble.
3-player retake here, and Stacks' position given away, brings it into a 3v3.
Yeah, ball going up now. They want to be playing this one quite quickly. Bit of a tap of the spike, trying to force good fights out of it. Again, winning a couple of them still. Just down to the 1 player though. Sojny and He's given a one angle, down to that 1v1. RB holding his ground, a quick tap once more, trying to force the fight.
This is so hard.
Information gathered, information gained. RB must just be able to see that he's not on it, and wow, just waiting for the star to come online. Not winnable. Time has to be played, have to save the rifle.
An absolutely checkmated position for Sochny to play. RB's almost unkillable, dancing up and down on that elevation, but he always gets to see whether or not Sochny's sticking the defuse. Really, really.
Yeah, quite difficult.
But on the flip side, considering this is the first time DRX have played this map, you wouldn't know it, because this is looking drilled.
It is looking very, very good. With all the rumors swirling around this team about what roster they might be running in the primary lineup, looks like they have not missed a step, have not missed a beat. I'm surprised by how much DRX are actually committing as well to this. All 5 of their players just through main. And inside these smokes, that's where Brave wants to try and play to get some value. The one kill found, tries to pick up the rifle to recover at least a portion of the round, but ultimately is going to be falling now.
And the pit invested as well. That is so much respect.
Okay, I mean, committing this Hunter's Fury, cuts across, I think a little bit of damage done potentially, but not even that, I think, just the reveal prior from his dart that was sent flying. Investing into this round when the economy's not quite ideal. Kushner, who does have that rifle, seeing what he can do, but look at it. DRX with the utility, the nade comes down, and probably got a few more pieces to work with as well. Mako up close and personal, spraying all over the bloody place. With the Phantom, quick tap. Really not much to be done.
And look how well thought out that post plan was. They have the Viper's Pit on top of it, but they're spamming all of their utility early on, and then that buys time for RB to go for this flank through Art. And so, there's a pull on the spike, but the pull doesn't have to be used until late. RB's going to be in the perfect position for them to drop the pit and come from an unexpected angle. There's so many layers to this, and it's so difficult for BBL to deal with it on the fly. The tempo is definitely being set here by DRX. And that's not where you want to be if you're running a Yoru comp.
No, you really want to be, I think, showcasing a lot of just quirky ideas, something set that is going to be throwing your opponents off, but...
Nice shock dart.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, actually. Clears that utility that's going to be used. The double doors, now forces, honestly.
Look at this aggressive gate crash.
This is nice, though. Aftershock onto the corner. And Buzz has just found the angle, and here it is, yeah. Gate crash forward, still holding that forward angle, a deeper position. It's going to be remaining for but a moment, but finally TPing back to safety.
And that's about the first value that we've seen Kushner really get. Outside of stacking the correct sites, which has never really worked, goes for an aggressive play there, and it pays off. So how did DRX work in 4v4s?
And what's their answer going to be?
They have broken the Killjoy turret that was over here, so Stax is getting a lot of space to set up for an A-split. And the KO wall is devastatingly good against Brave.
Yeah, this is going to be brutal for him to try and anchor. Smokes drop down all over the side to try and split this one up into the Art. Split straight through main. The utility's just a little bit too late. Still, Brave gets the one kill, and luckily and crucially, he will survive. So backing away to wait for the rest of his team.
Huge play inside his own smoke to avoid the flashes.
We see the lockdown being used with Zest going down. Are we going to have any other answers for it? And taking point, Kushner wraps up the round quite nicely.
Fantastic first round to get on the board there from BBL. It cost them a lot, but it was worthwhile. And while Kushner gets 3 kills in the round, I've got to give credit to Brave for his anchoring. To be able to get that first pick and hold on to the back side control so that the rest of his team could come in for a retake, get the lockdown in a good spot. That's really important for an Astra that was potentially about to get hit by a KO ult.
Yeah. Really critical, and sometimes that first round can be the hardest one when it feels like the momentum is against you, a team like DRX.
Well, listen, the momentum is not going to stop, though, because Zest and Stax still have their ults, big ults that can get picks or open up a site completely. You see Aslam and Shadow change around his Killjoy setup. Still the alarm bot in the same place that got shock darted before, but now putting more of a focus towards B.
Drone pushes forwards. Look at this. Nothing to really offset it. They know that there's not going to be that heavy presence towards playing aggressively into B to try and contest it. Flash perfectly timed with Buzz's updraft as well to see if they can catch it onto any sort of player. Right around the corner, that's Q-Shitter. He's making all sorts of plays. The gate crash around the side. And he's dealt with, but too little too late, honestly. 2 kills found for him.
Great kill as well from Sochny.
Beautiful.
To shut down the lurk, and BBL. 2 rounds in a row, an aggressive play from Kushner has paid off on the Yoru. He's currently 9-7. We heard Seth talk on the desk about how he's been allegedly dropping 30 bombs in scrims.
Yeah. Fear into people.
Here he comes. I mean, bit of a whiff, honestly, from Zest. Should be favored there, but Kushner's kind of full sprinting to the left.
I think you're starting to see really where the success comes from in these last 2 rounds. It's been off the back of those plays being cooked up with Kushner.
And I'm surprised by this. Buzz taking an attack operator. So maybe aiming to slow the pace down a lot and just hold angles on B. I wouldn't expect them to finish A with an op in their hands unless they're forced.
Just trying to set this one up, but it's a difficult one. The drone did clear quite a bit down B long, so it sets up Buzz on this angle, but they don't quite know if back halls is cleared. All right, that was actually a contact play. Despite the stun missing, Aslan still has the confidence to take the fight.
That's Turkish confidence right there.
Oh, yeah.
The Turkish players are always high skill, high confidence. And Buzz was backpedaling as he took the shot, really inaccurate. And now they are forced to go A, but they also don't have the op.
It's a cute little idea from BBL as well, just off that turret contact, but...
Look at where Brave is hiding here. Does he get cleared?
Abi has been late lurking this one. Zest is at back and just walks into the line of sight angle.
Vandal diff.
Yeah. Finding the target, still Kushner TPing back. Stacks is there to try and take up a bit of this space onto the site. Another pop flash play. And you're seeing this guy just rip off heads. Unreal form by Kushner.
And the breach ult used in the 2v1. RB is not allowed to get a sniff, not a crumb.
Now 1v2, no time remaining. And all Turco has to do is swing off the contact of Kushner. Should make it nice and easy. Lovely little offset of the movement there by Kushner. Finding 4 kills in the round. Off the back of that, I mean, 3 of these rounds so far, the 3 in a row, really, just off the back of his own individual play.
Yeah. Now sat at 13-7. He's torn open some of these defaults. And I think sometimes that's one of the best ways to play against DRX, is throw them a curveball, try and throw something strange at them as they're setting up.
If you can disrupt their timings, it's those big utility executes that could be so scary that you take the bite out of it.
And how about this? Bike taken out completely from DRX's economy. They're forced down onto a Thrifty.
Definitely weaker weapons, but still a couple of rifles to make themselves just a bit more dangerous.
Uh-oh.
And okay, well, Dimensional Drift got a bit of that information, has to back away, cannot take the fight.
And BBL have just been barreled over.
Yeah, unable to withstand it.
Yeah, Sochny and Turco was supposed to delay there and put up resistance so that Kushner could get around and make a play happen. But it all fell to pieces.
This double flank now needs to try and get some value.
Everybody from DRX is here. Everybody, all 5 players.
And they're watching it. They are a bit of a pre-fire. Do they anticipate it? They do!
Where's the traders?
Just falling. Not quite a trade, but Buzz eventually is there. He's like, all right, guys, I'll take care of him. No problems. Kushner wondering exactly how he should be playing this one.
But he will not expect everyone to be offside. You know, he still has to clear these areas, fake the gate crash.
Time is running so low. And a flash, I think, for his own. Or Stacks is just finding his face. And yeah, not quite able to really play this one out. Just not enough time to work with.
And that round had failed within the first 5 seconds, honestly. It was a decent try from BBL to get back into things with the double retake flank, but as soon as Sochny and Turco went down, that is a really tough round to recover. And a brutal one for BBL, because that's where you're supposed to be favored. You've got the guns, you've knocked your opponents down onto a half buy.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to convert those.
So much you need to be winning. What absolute monstrous shots by Buzz.
And it's unfair that DRX has a couple of Kushner's in Mako and Buzz. Really, they should just be going at it 1v1.
Zest, let's see if he gets value out of this again with a shock dart. I mean, it's just been almost every round, I feel like. Just as
yeah, Aslan definitely needs to change that up. Also, Aslan's nanoswarm that he's putting on site is not where DRX are planting. Even if he did put it there, though, Zest has actually been shocking the plant position every time. So, you know, just layers of DRX being prepared for everything.
Yeah, making sure it's definitely going to be catching them unaware. But it is going to be 3 players holding from the BBL side, including Kushner at the back of Halls. Maybe another contact play in the works as well, maybe off the turret, because you can see Turco is in position, doesn't quite have the stun leveled, has to watch the extremity because of that alarm bot being destroyed at the beginning, but there we go, fast play, flashing to the back of Halls, and Kushner, he was the target and he has been found.
4v3 for DRX, but they have Pit online. This is again going to be really difficult. The pull, great there actually from Brave. It denies the plant going down and might offer them a chance at spamming into this pit. Can anyone stop Stacks again?
That's what it's going to come down to, isn't it? A bit of a random spam. They found the one target that matters. Mako falls, and so does the pit. Any sort of hopes of potentially using that as coverage, it's all down to Buzz, isn't it, at the back to try and buy time and hold on.
That was a comical double take.
BBL need to clear Buzz out of this angle. Arby, big weight on his shoulders to try and bail him out. Tap onto the spike. Do they know nobody's on this one now? Just biding their time back and forth. The dash as well into safety.
So horrible for Turco. He's just been played with.
Yeah, just nigh impossible to win.
It's like a cat with a mouse. It is just heart-wrenching to watch. There was no way that Turco was going to be able to win that one. With a player behind and a player in front, and neither of them wanting to face him, just threatening, teasing.
And no fair fight given.
And DRX in such firm control of this map, despite heroics coming out from Kushner and Soshny at times as well.
One more round is available to them in the half. And the success that we've seen with BBL, typically the rounds they end up winning is when they disrupt a lot of these hits that are coming through. Making sure that they don't let DRX get comfortable when they're, you know, just offloading a utility into a lot of these sites.
There is no alarm bot for the shock dart to hit this time, but it did a bit of damage to Brave, so he wasn't quite aware that the shock was coming through. Nevertheless, Brave might not be expected right here. I think that smoke could have given it away, though. It's certainly given the game away now.
Warbangable there, but does get out with his life. The drone just going to be used to clear through to one side of mid. Well, look at this, DRX making sure that they also hold positioning here towards Buzz. Here. Operator in his hands. The attack operator coming out.
And BBL are lacking so much info.
And really just forced to swing into them, find these fights, because that's what they need, information. And guess what? That lurk timing pays off. Flash off to the corner. Buzz staying safe, beaming them down one after another.
What a play by Stacks. BBL a bit too timid. Didn't realize that Stacks had already crossed because they weren't able to reclaim areas of art. Too many plays over towards B-Link. And that's it, all sealed up. Only Kushner on the Yoru with an admirable 14 kills, but just not enough to get his team into this first half. And everybody on BBL has just got to be thinking about their attack side.
Yeah. Nothing to lose in this round for Kushner. He's going to try and make the most of it.
I mean, what a highlight this would be.
Yeah, if he manages to make this work.
The 1v4 clutch with players scattered all over. A KO ult to deal with.
And this is such a hard one to win, because Stacks, look at this, he's got the heaven position held. The crossfire, RB playing close to the site, they know his position now, and a bit of util will finish it off. A 9-3 half for DRX, looking cool, calm, and collected, and firmly in control.
I think for the Turkish fans, it comes down to, do you believe in curses? Do you believe in miracles?
Yeah, certainly. Gonna have to see some big things from BBL, I think, on this attack side as well. Try and get the most out of Kushner on that Yoru. He's putting up some amazing results. Like we said, 14-9 is the scoreline, but it's gonna take something very special, I think, some curated plays across the board. But we'll throw it down to the desk to break down what we've seen of the first half. So, in the past, Josh, when we have seen the Yoru working on that big stage, it's often a ton of prep thrown behind it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And we didn't really see too much cooked up on the defensive side. There was a set strat like that.
It's a fast play towards to take that A main control. Looks like the goal was to try and get as many of these orbs as well into Kushner, try and prioritize his ult.
Is the plan here for Kushner just to send the gate crash towards Flowers or something like that? You might be able to get into some absurdly unusual positions.
Careful here.
I think you have to be ready for it, honestly, if you are DRX. Now, listen, I haven't been following all the tips and tricks when it comes to Yoru, but typically, as long as you keep an eye, I think, towards spawn in some way, you should be ready for it. But that's not what they've got cooked up for now. It's a slow play, still holding on to that A main control. And it's a drone to try and fake some presence into the connector. There's not much else being pushed behind it, so DRX not really biting. In fact, Stack's going for a very fast play. It's a pop flash out of the smoke, one after the other. The crossfire connects with RB. Down to just 2 players left standing, a bit of run and gun in action, but ultimately doesn't do too much for them. DRX take their 10th round.
And that might well be a dagger to the heart of BBL. They had an idea there on the pistol round. You know, fault line, flash, Kushner was supposed to follow it in the gate crash. And that was going to provide a lot of pressure on anybody anchoring the backside. But RB wasn't in a position where he got hit by any of it. And the rest of the DRX players were very fast to punish the rest of BBL who were trying to get in through the choke point. The timing was pretty much there from BBL, to be honest, but DRX is still just so clean at dealing with it. And there was no plan, not really many kills, so BBL can't really even get in a good position to force this. It's just going to be a terrifying 11th round on the board in all likelihood for DRX. And I feel like, Brent, after their 3rd place result at Champions, this team has got a swagger about them. I don't know whether you noticed it as well, but just hearing them talk in the interviews beforehand and how they're discussing their team and their chances and stuff, there definitely seems to be more of that swagger of, we know we're a top team. Oh, and Stacks just followed the gate crash all the way.
Exactly, what we were talking about. The gate crash is going into spawn. If you're aware of the play being made, there needs to be some sort of follow-up, but Stacks was just tracking it down, waiting for it. But
yeah, Kushner hoping that he just got through there for free.
It's DRX playing with a ton of confidence behind them. Incredibly consistent team, and they're a team as well that, you know, the evolution that BBL are hoping to go for, I think, with the addition of their new IGL, adding a couple of more layers to their game plans. Unfortunately, had to go up against this absolute masterclass team that is DRX. Obviously, the series not over by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely a rough one as far as 1st round matchups go here at the lock-in tournament.
Definitely very rough. But there's a long time before this BBL team has to, you know, compete in the EMEA VCT, so it's about going as deep as you can in the tournament and pulling away as many learning lessons as you can as well.
Yeah.
Here would be a great round. Stop the DRX bonus. See if they have any plans. Maybe you need to approach this round a little cautiously yourself and then go into a set strat. But I definitely want to see something. I know they've been out there watching the Gordon Ramsay shows, cooking stuff up. They've got to be. The recipe book is in their hands.
You got to cook something up special, but it looks like all 5 players moving forwards. That's drone taken out nice and early. Buzz taking a tremendous amount of chip damage, just has to back away and does have the shorty available to him. This corner isn't cleared. It's a flash play, and Buzz, I don't know how much he could see in that scenario, but picks up the rifle. Revealed the long B long. They've taken so much damage. Exchange of the weaponry because Buzz is the weaker player. They have all their players watching these angles.
Just read it so hard.
Here.
The flash was perfect as well, but
yeah,
you can't exactly miss with a shorty at that kind of range.
Now just trying to take this fight. Flash is sent through to utility. What should have been a must-win round for BBL is looking
it's looking like a save, to be honest here, Bren. You're 3v5. You don't want to give better rifles to them. I know you can't really call that in the moment. You've got to believe in yourself, but this is going to be a disaster for BBL here.
Yeah. Brave spotted out, a bit of tag there, 9 health. Left alone. Has the most to do, and just as he runs out of bullets, the trade in play. DRX entering now map point.
And we've seen even some really good teams get slaughtered like this by DRX at the beginning of tournaments. They just always come in so incredibly hot. And yeah, look at that. Full blind. Absolutely full blind from Buzz. And still getting the kill. And Kushner was not happy about that one in the slightest.
That's a hard one. It's got to be everything invested now if you are BBL.
But it's scraps.
Certainly is. They managed to scramble that rifle in the hands of Kushner, so not too bad. Taking out A main control.
One away now from Alt Kushner. If he can try to cook something up on the fly, that would be impressive.
This angle that Stacks is jiggling can be punished, honestly. If you are on the attack side, you can swing this from a high and low angle, but he's going to be jiggling it. That is really rough timing there with the utility in his hands, but exactly what BBL needed.
That was nearly an incredible counterplay, though, from Mako and Zest. Mako inside his own smoke at the same time as Zest threw the recon dart, but he chose not to pull the trigger.
Where is that orb going? I mean, just layers to this. Drop it down. Not too sure. BBL's answer, though, in the midst of all of this now, entering the mid-round.
They're droning from so far away because they have no info. Does Buzz have the confidence to get back on the angle?
Unbelievable.
Of course he does.
Star player taken out. It fills curtains. A nice stun to punish this one. Buzz in an awkward scenario, an awkward position, but it needs to be a bit more behind it. A double push through with the flashes in play. Really, Turco, what can you do? Has to link up with the rest of his team now. Later look through, lovely flash. Buzz does get taken care of, but time is running low now. 12 seconds remaining. And a must-win round for them to stay in the map. Aslan holding down one of the angles. 5 seconds remaining, down to that 1v1. And the pull, surely this is not the way it ends. Out in the open, and the wide swing from RB will finalize it.
DRX coming away with a well-anticipated, but nevertheless impressive and intimidating map 1 against BBL. To disrupt things.
And you know what, Josh? The annoying thing is as well, even if they were looking at the most recent VODs of DRX playing this map, they were playing with Foxy 9. Buzz was on KO. The roles were kind of alternated a little bit. You're going to be using a lot of the same utility, a lot of the same ideas obviously going to be thrown into the mix, but it does change things up once more. But a fast play by BBL, this is something that they are known for. It's a nice hit, all of them running straight into the site, the flash into the back of it, RB forced out of position. The angles are being watched for, but a spam through the wall still. Stacks wanted to try and take these fights!
No way.
You cannot give him 3 kills here.
How has he just brought this back into a 2v2? That's absurd. I was all ready to big up how BBL had played that.
Yeah, and just like that, the damage is done, but
you can't lose this one, Brennan. It'd be a heartbreaker.
Yeah, you certainly can't. Enough damage onto Stacks that is weak. Maybe obviously not taking contact there into the turret, pretty smart, heads up, just in case it did bring him down. A bit of a crossfire being played on top of Jenny. It's Brave even though he's up here. And is it going to be the ace to finish? Not quite. Denied in the end. BBL going to be claiming that pistol.
Oh, wow, they were made to pay for it, but BBL get over the line in the end. I've just got flashbacks of Stacks jumping from heaven on Ascent and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, but BBL finally able to make that work, and they're investing into 2 rifles heading into the next round. Off the back of that, it is so difficult, right, to attack into DRX's comp, because you have to break a recon, you have to break a haunt, there's all sorts of utility coming flying at you as you try and get into the sites. And then you have to also watch about a flash through the smoke, and you know, there's just so many different things they can do.
Things that could potentially go wrong, but well underway now with this round. Nothing so much Brett, with the stack, but yeah, go ahead.
Kushner getting that first opening kill on the A site attack, that is their win con. As I see it, Kushner having an extremely good entry success rate is the thing that could possibly push BBL over the line in this map. He would just have to have an ungodly performance.
Yeah, just to try and pull them through, because if you do watch BBL play this map in the past, at least most recently in the off-season, they have been quite a one-dimensional team. It tends to go down to like plays like this, a lot of 5 hits all the way through, just trying to take those good fights. That's disgusting. Shorty up in the air, apparently still accurate. No, he does claim the kill. He cannot be getting another one, and they do eventually. finally get rid of him.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
That was an absolute nuisance, but Stax has been just that much more annoying there with the Ghost, but
you know,
they do clean up that round.
The other part of that, Brent,
Yeah.
that bears mentioning is that Buzz was sat in the position where if you're a Jet, like Kushner, and you're trying to get into the B site, a lot of the time people will updraft dash and land on the site tucked in on that close corner.
Yeah.
Buzz was literally sat there with a shorty staring at the sky, waiting for that to happen. It's not what Kushner did, but you can tell that DRX are, even on their complete eco rounds, trying to throw ideas in there that might net them a win. Can BBL get a bonus? Their economy is so good. They have rifles everywhere. This round is super even.
An amazing beginning to this map.
Aslan
Actually calling it curtains for quite some time as well, just from how one-sided that previous one looked.
They're not feeding the orb to Aslan. They could have had a lockdown, but Turco's taken it instead. He's still 3 away. So, not really thinking about the old game, possibly?
Look at that from Kushner as well, just making sure that he had his crosshair just in the jump peak spot. Almost taking off Buzz's head.
And he's going to have an opportunity to jet diff if he wants to search for the fight in spawn.
For now, just holding the space that he's gained here up in Pizza. Now a smoke across, Cloud Burst, drop down. That's a bit of a phantom moment, able to spray like that and get value. That's not dealt with very easily. That actually did tag up onto Zest. Buzz has to dash through to try and anchor it to the back of the site. Layers of that util being dropped down now, just making it that much more difficult for them. Dropping onto the site needs to be a trade, and Brave is there, but eventually these anchoring players dealt with.
Great work from BBL getting into the site like that. They paused for a moment.
Fast?
I don't think you can play this fast against the lockdown.
Trying
Surely
to.
not.
Pop flash play. Mako has to respect it. He's backing away.
And Mako has literally 1 HP.
Difficult task, isn't it?
Oh, that smoke is not so great for Brave.
But weapon in hand, he was holding it, anticipating that push, and that is that bonus round that we were talking about. BBL claiming it 3 in a row, sets them up in honestly a pretty beautiful start to this entire map.
And I'm going to give credit there to Brave and Aslan Machado for how well they traded getting into the site. Because once BBL had gone through mid, taken market, they take the front of the site, but it's still a 4v4 where they need to get in and actually get the plant down. And they did such a good job at sticking tight together and trading out the DRX anchors.
We'll see if BBL can just take it out one more step further. Knife over the top, not getting too much done, but it's a caution really being showcased.
It's already such a good start to the map, though.
Yeah, it is.
As long as you're able to convert this, being 4-0 up on the attack side, you don't really need that much more to be competent.
Smoke's dropped down. Looks like there is some pace being injected into this one.
Here.
Still being dropped off. Now flashes over the top, but there is no dash just yet. And finally you see it. Updraft dash onto the Jenny, resetting the aim. In just a few moments. Still RB. It's just waiting into the back of the side, but a weapon diff will make it short-lived as he was attempting to anchor.
And dodging the dart there, really important for Brave too. Doesn't look like there's too much danger left in this round, but I'm really reluctant to count DRX out.
Never know when they might just pull out one of those miracles, but just down to Zest. Honestly, more than an impossible task, as long as BBL just don't give anything up. Turret to take contact. You can just see a bit of a double swing potentially off of that. You can see it. Brave wants to take the fight, and 4 rounds in a row. BBL already getting off to a much better start than the prior map.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from them. And this is where the snowball can genuinely start developing.
Yep.
Turco 1 away from his ultimate. I would expect DRX to recognize that and look to fight for at least one of the orbs. An operator online for Buzz. He can be posted up in B main if DRX want to.
I mean, this is a clash off the rip. Paranoia.
It should win.
In the
The
hands.
Paranoia should win.
Oh yeah. It should push them back unless Buzz decides to just ego it, holds the angle down and tries to catch the timing, but no. Have to respect it. Look at Kushner, he's not wasting any time! Up in the air! And there it is, Clay Pigeon shooting. A nasty shot to hit, the ult into the back of the site, that is with the spike, but cleared back! A reset of the aim, Zest! An absolute demonic performance! No one is allowed to step foot past that choke.
That's a great performance from a guy who, as far as we were aware, might not have even been playing in the roster. Unfortunate movement from Kushner. I think he actually clipped the edge of the hut as he was going for his dash over, so he just kind of hovered in the air for a while and left a very easy shot for Buzz to hit. But you can tell that BBL there were aware that Buzz was going to fight for it, and they wanted to match it with their own pace. Again, the game plan actually seems pretty solid from Sochny. But the execution just didn't quite work.
See at the beginning of this one, a whole bunch of utility being used, and in the meantime, that fight for control of B main, Vazlan falling. It's going to be a large opening available to them. BBL not wasting any time though.
And this is a great play from Kushner.
And look at the pace. I mean, the guy has been caught. Ultimate popped off. Yeah, the Nightfall. Couldn't quite hear too much going on, but they still want to try and at least work their way into the site. Vulnerable Duck, Brave. Actually traded. It looked like he almost was going to get away with two.
Zest not really in a position to use his Soverall to deny the plan. So this is just going to be a bit of a straight-up retake. Turco can't use his flashes here. He's just kind of stuck.
Yep, Haunt over the top. Even a dart up close. Sneer trying to go through with the jumping classic right click. Fortunately, a couple of patches too far ahead for that one to really play out how he was hoping. And now,
you can't see a thing.
Horrible position for Turco.
Not planning for him.
Yep.
Simple
Not even
impossibility.
An opportunity.
So many. What?
Okay.
Okay. So many post-plant situations, though, in this game overall, whether it be defuses or, you know, just delaying time for the post-plant to go off, the DRX are looking immaculate. You know, so many positions where we see 1 or 2 players left alive for BBL, and they're just checkmated. They can't do anything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what they try. I like the idea from Kushner that you saw there, but I was expecting him to go through the glass and pinch the guy on sight. I think swinging into spawn was a bit bold. He was just trying to catch the fade unaware. Knives online for Kushner this time. Star player's got to produce something for BBL.
Good Buzz doesn't know which angle to watch just in case there is an updraft in play, but Kushner is trying to make a play as well off the back of the drone, and he's not wasting any time again. He's just trying to disrupt these timings.
This is way quicker than DRX can expect.
Yeah, absolutely, all the way through. Already into tree, but what is that? The return of fire from Buzz, that had to be just seconds away.
Oh, that is filth. But again, Sochny leading his team really quick, pivoting into a B split, but they don't control B main.
Yeah, if you have to control this area, you have to at least anticipate it, and Zest still alive, backing him up, trying to play with the rest of his team, the swings, the crossfires, despite the smoke, pushing their way through, and with the spike drop down, it leaves Aslan in a very, very unfortunate scenario.
Another 1v3 that doesn't really seem winnable. Mako coming up behind. Can Aslan make magic?
He's found the first one, but just encroaching and yeah, eventually just squeezing that final position. And I gotta say, Josh, honestly, the way Kushner has been playing, the amount of pace as well, just trying to disrupt it, it is a pretty key win con, I think. Just not letting that triple initiator get comfortable or set up, trying to catch those awkward timings, but
definitely. Yeah, I think the game plan is solid, but the tempo that BBL are playing at means that they're missing things out, like, for example, taking B main control here. It's a decent idea to try for that immediate pivot through market. You definitely could catch people unaware or with utility in their hand, but again, there's just some compromise. You know, by playing that quickly, you can't play perfectly.
Yeah, you don't. Well, leaves up resources that you otherwise aren't going to be dedicating. On the weaker buy now for BBL, just seeing what they can get in B main, making sure they take these fights. But Buzz, with his watchful eye, the operator, straight down the line of sight angles into mid. Dax caught with a util, but okay, safe hands from Zest still.
That's
this is getting a bit scrappy, and yeah, beautiful one to find.
You need to be able to punish those peaks from Buzz. And there's quite a few rifles down over towards B main. BBL had 2 in this round. Can they recover the one that Kushner owned? If so, this is looking like a fairly even round still. You know, Lockdown's still available here. They're trying to post up, see if Sochny can get that Vandal in his hand.
It's going to be util used.
Oh,
Just aware now, it is quite messy, especially with that pull. Disrupts the timing. They could otherwise get into the site, but
post-plant lockdown, though, is going to be difficult for DRX to deal with.
Yeah, for now, just tapping that spike, making sure that
are they not going to invest
caught out? Yeah, looks like they're just holding it for now. It's a flash re-clear. Already the DRX player's not wasting any time here. Mako though, wasn't playing anti-flash, has to back away. Now you're seeing ults being committed, but both players are so low, and all it will take is the spray down.
Small mistakes from BBL, but just opening a gap that DRX could exploit. I really do think that post-plant changes a lot if Aslan immediately pivots. As soon as they get the site control and they've cleared back site, immediately lockdown goes in. You either force DRX to retake before they're ready, or they have to, you buy a lot of time and set yourself up much nicer, threaten that you could have repositioned somewhere like.
Great openings, I think, for BBL.
Coming out of this timeout, a very passive position from Aslan, anticipating that classic play that we've seen from DRX, where Buzz would dash down mid. That's not what they're going for. It's an operator taking some space in B main, and now Tiles is just completely given up.
Yeah.
DRX can rotate players away from B and bolster A and mid, which is where BBL are probably going to end up going.
Yeah, like you said, all that util being used paints a very clear picture of where BBL should be. And, well, it's a pivot now with the mid-round, but guess who's posted up on this angle? The turret is watching for a deeper push, but are they going to expect this? Buzz could be everything in this moment. Put a stop to anything early on.
Do they flash it?
Yeah, how do they want to clear this?
Do they drone it maybe? But that seems
They're
like
trying
a
to fake
big
A presence, I think.
Oh,
look, there's two players.
Yeah, the Sova's not even there. They're actually faking the A push, you're right, Bren, with the drone.
You should run.
And the lockdown. So that's what they're trying to get value with the lockdown from. That's a great idea.
It's a game of chicken though, isn't it? Look, Buzz still pushed up, still holding the angle, contacting through, smoke at the top with the dash enabled. Just has to respect that knife. There was no one there to try and break that one.
30 seconds left.
TP across, flash play over and through. Now only a few seconds remaining, and it's pure instinct. Buzz takes the timing, he takes the shot. Holding up close, right around the corner, a little bit labored there from Zest, but ultimately, it's just two players now of BBL with time running this low.
10 seconds left.
Does not look ideal.
Buzz really has that swagger.
Yeah, I mean,
Able to hit the first shot and then watch him pop his dash and then just not use it anyway. He pops the dash and then he just one-ways and just holds this angle. And he only dashes after he's taken a second shot.
yeah, or at least until the knife was used to try and push him off the angle.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's
Anyone feeling generous?
still the case. When they were talking about having Foxy9 in as their primary duelist, I was a little bit upset, honestly, when I heard that, because Buzz, I felt like, I mean, the guy's just been coming alive ever since he's switched over to playing this primary duelist for them. The guy's a very, very talented player. He can play a multitude of roles, but when he's on the jet, he just takes over sometimes.
He does, yeah. They've had a few games recently where Foxy9 was playing where Buzz ended up playing KO and he still took over the game.
He still did well.
I think he's just a beast. They've just got an extremely talented squad. This round is going to be really hard for BBL to get any value.
Yeah, I mean, the real spearhead of a lot of your attacks if you're BBL is going to be Kushner on the jet, and he was taken out more than early before he could even get past that choke point. Look where he died.
We haven't seen BBL explore deep down mid as much since those first 4 rounds.
Yeah, it was the early rounds, right?
Yeah, the early rounds where they were doing well, they actually created a lot of pressure in mid. I think from a theoretical point of view, that makes a lot of sense because DRX aren't running a Sentinel in their comp. You know, they can't just leave a trip in mid, they can't leave an alarm bot in mid, something like that.
Yeah.
So trying to punish them for that and push Buzz away from those positions, or if Buzz is in B main pushing, you know, whoever happens to be there, Zest or whatever. I think the more you can bully mid against DRX's comp, you should be able to get more value out of it. But the difference between theory and practice is everything when you're playing against a side as good as DRX.
Yeah. And other players going to be making that kind of call as well. Already used the one of the timeouts, but
This looks like it might be down mid though, just as I say.
well, this is the same util I think that they were going to be using. So they used the knife for market, and then should be a nade in pizza.
That updraft just to get a peek. And
just no
Buzz
one's
is
covering
too
it.
ready for it, man. I mean, Kushner looks to see whether Buzz is there with his updraft. Doesn't spot anything because Buzz is playing, you know, anti-flash, anti-drone, and then he just peeks out at the perfect moment.
What I was talking about prior with Kushner upsetting a lot of the timings of DRX's triple initiator comp, it feels like Buzz is the one that's now doing the same to them. You could feel the setup from BBL where they were just trying to use that util to clear into mid, but Ever since he's got this operator, it has just opened up the map, it feels like, to DRX from a calling perspective. They have so much information and know what's going on most of the time.
And you need that jet if you're going down mid. Oh, the knife sees everything. RB with all the info in the world.
Just an amazing timing, but they still want to be committing into this one. It's going to be the swing through. Players ready and waiting. A pull inside the smoke. Just pushes them back. And all it takes is that rifle spam.
So brutal to watch. The first 4 rounds all go in the way of BBL. The pistol, and then a follow-up.
Yeah.
Bonus, and then a follow-up eco. So they've won 0 rifle v rifle rounds.
Past that point, yeah. It's been, you know, honestly, credit to BBL, I think, being able to just come out the gates on this new map after they just get absolutely obliterated on Pearl.
Yeah.
And still put up those rounds, but since then, it's just lost all momentum. They can't quite come up with the answers in time. This is where, you know, players like Suchny that we were talking about as the IGL coming into this team are really going to be tested to see if he can come up with the right answer for all of us. But look at it. Any sort of pressure that's being applied, it's util being used, but answered in kind by the ultimates. Nightfall scattered across the Hunter's Fury to try and get them into the site, but the damage is done. And a wall to split them back up. Mako anchoring in position. Util flying this way, that way, holding the wall, making sure that no one can really step over that line.
Brent, Mako is not human. That is a ridiculous shutdown.
Just absurd.
I don't know if you spotted that there at the end of the half, but Mako was dodging a Hunter's Fury and just casually went into his astral form to put down that wall.
Yep, just weaving back and forth.
Just while dodging the ult, and then gets another 3 kills afterwards. The man is a legend. He's carved from stone. He's granite.
It does not make sense sometimes, but the level of consistency, the level of play that he puts up over these LAN tournaments is just on another level entirely. Let's send it down to the desk to break down the first half. Rounds of BBL need on that attack side. I kind of said 6, but listen, 4 could be doable for them. This pistol round, though, has gained a lot of importance. Has to start here.
Brave caught out with a bit of a flash there. How quickly do they just dump all of their utility?
Yeah, a lot being used now with the smoke as well to dash through. That
Good
is
spam.
just some spam. Yep, punishing that one.
And that shuts down almost everything. DRX can't get dragged into the site because Buzz, their player that's the furthest forward, instantly fell. No possibility of being double-faced. The side anchors can sit pretty and just hold that smoke. Not exactly sure what the game plan was with Brave holding so far up, but he still got his man. He still got his one. So, in the end, things worked.
It has tempered the very short burst of play that we saw at the beginning. A little bit of an exploration up towards the top of mid, but contacting now back into A main.
What you're looking at here is Kushner could definitely take a really uncomfortable duel with Stacks, but Turco's spotting really good information, and he's not going to get punished by doing that.
Seen the one, but it doesn't do enough really to drive too many rotations. Still, that's what we wanted to see from him. Kushner taking one after the other. A couple of scalps to his name, and the cleanup is there as Aslan's going to get that re-swing.
Great work.
Around Josh, you know, talking about it. Was an important one to win. BBL starting off on the right foot.
Yeah, I think Turco does such a good job there at helping Kushner. He gets the kill onto Buzz. Here's that kill, just spamming into the smoke, predicting where Buzz is going to dash, and then breaks the recon dart that would have showed where Kushner was, finds all of the info that they're there. Kushner goes for a wide swing, deletes the player in the choke, and they finish off the round. That pistol, as you said, Brent, the most important round for BBL to win. They need to get the follow-up, and ideally, round 15, the bonus would also be lovely for them. But let's focus on one at a time here.
One at a time, but good information gained early just from that one, and look at that. Useful enough to make what should be a nice and easy round. Put a bow on it, please. There you go.
Tell you what,
Just
Kushner getting this kill would have been Kushner getting that kill. I suppose it doesn't really matter either way because he died. So he has one away from his knives. Doesn't really matter whether he got the kill or whether he died, but he's one away from his knives right now. that could be enormous heading into this bonus round.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised if they commit to the operator here. But I suppose if they commit to the op in the bonus, they still have the knives for the round afterwards.
The follow-up round.
So there's no problem with that.
Now, honestly, this is very unexpected, I think. I mean, some teams are going to be thinking those layers ahead. You just hold tab, you get to see the money situation. It could be an option for them, but the question is DRX going to be expecting this? Because it's a bit of an outlandish purchase, I think, to just throw into this bonus round.
I think it is the correct play, actually, though, too, because these orbs are really difficult to get if you're a defender.
A wide swing across, that's a dash forwards, a bit of a misinput there, but okay. Jumps back to safety.
Meanwhile, great play from Sojny. He dragged the Prowler that Stax had used away from Aslan. He drew aggro, so Aslan's position wasn't detected. See whether that matters later on in the round if they return to B main.
Another position posted up, but this time they do notice operators online, and Cushion is the one who wants to take quite a striking angle. Aslan just catching that one. Stax going for the contact reclear. Pop flash play. And Cushion is still, well, the confidence to swing out of the smoke there, but still, he's let one of his teammates die, and it's a bit delayed in terms of the way he wanted to play that.
Oh, what a misstep from BBL. And they've just opened the door for DRX to get straight back in. Brave and Turco only have ghosts. They need to go and forage.
Brave will get that rifle, but contact play. Brave has to anticipate this one. A timing could be taken. Mako was in astral form, but the angle's watched for, and there you go. The kill is found.
He just always wins those.
Yeah, so consistent.
Turco's foraging ended in failure. He's only got the ghost still. Where's the operator?
Picks it up.
Escape, run away.
Honestly, you take that, I think, if you are BBL.
But I mean, you do take that. It's not a bad bonus round by any means, and you save the op, but what could have been?
Yeah, what could have been? It could have been a one round entirely.
What could have been? This could be 8-8. And I think just one misstep in terms of how Kushner pushed through that smoke to help his teammate there has really made all the difference.
This entire tournament can just come down to those tiny little mistakes as well that piling up. We heard DRX talking about it as well just before the match when they were talking, singular limbs. So many teams, you don't have that buffer anymore of groups that you've had at the prior global events.
Look at the frustration on the BBL players' faces as well. Reflected by delight on the other side.
Yeah.
Still though, a great buy for BBL, and like you said, Brent, you'll take that as a bonus round. Can Kushner get up to more mischief? Over here, he's pretty far away from the action, but a fairly quick rotate with the turret still watching over towards mid doesn't compromise their defense.
I mean, just amazing timing being taken with that one. Buzz almost pays with it, with his life. I think it was just one bullet there to the head, maybe a bit of wall bang damage, but left down to 10 health.
This is bold from Brave. Think about all the utility that needs to be broken for him. And who's going to break it? Kushner?
Yeah,
he's
the
opping.
guy's got an operator in his hands. He's not going to be breaking
So
it.
Brave's going to have to break all of his own utility. The Haunt, the Recon, the Knife. He has to break all of that and then get the punish onto Buzz or whoever entries.
Have a close knife. I think that was the timing that DRX were waiting for because a couple of players were just out of range of it, but
Buzz did get seen though, and
yeah, this is
the jet is normally going to be where the push is.
Exactly, and 4 players from BBL already and waiting for this one, and look at that. Need to cut it up. Buzz does still get the damage done, still gets the kill. Eventually dealt with easily enough, and no one able to shut down that dart. Lights up the targets for them, and easy pickings through the smokes.
Well done from BBL. Getting the information, putting their players into position, and crucial. I think the FPX game was like 1917.
It was ridiculous.
It was crazy.
It was actually ridiculous. One of the best matches that we've seen, honestly.
But that's against FPX. You're not expecting DRX to go into OT against BBL on this map. But it was BBL's pick, and so far, winning both of the pistols and the follow-ups is pretty helpful.
A lot of spam damage, oh my word. No one able to deal with that dart. Odin just rips into them. It's a lovely heads-up play from BBL, honestly. You look at this round, you look at the state of it. You know DRX are not going to be buying, but they are close to these ultimates, so of course they're going to be playing for these orbs.
Absolutely, and this is what I thought DRX were going to do in that prior round that we had talked about. But basically just playing to deny ult orbs. One with the Odin through the wall, but on the other side of the map that we didn't quite catch, Brave and Turco playing aggressive in A main.
Yeah, since then backed away, but...
And I think, you know, when you look at DRX's ult economy, RB being able to get this orb would be really useful. Because then when the rifles are back up and he dies in this round, he's going to have his KO ult online.
Yeah, he will. Not important, but they don't want to reveal the presence just by picking up the orb just yet. Knife close. Now they know.
With that knife, I think it's worthwhile RB getting the orb.
What a shot.
Okay, Stax goes for it instead, which is also fine. Again, when Stax dies, he'll have the nightfall. Different prioritization of the ults. And Sojny is going to see everybody here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, this would just be mowing them down.
Beautiful timing. And yeah, with only a couple of seconds left remaining. Zest, this will be a lovely prize if he can get his way out of here. But no, won't escape the clutches there of BBL. Every avenue watched for.
And this could be a turning point in this map. Round 18, we're coming in. If BBL are able to win this one, then we've got a serious match on our hands. Then we've got a map. At the moment, this round, you know, a little easy. Sojny going for something unorthodox there, pushing out a B main. They get some confidence up. But can they win the rifle v rifle when DRX have 4 ults, potentially 5 when RB gets an orb or a kill? This one is tough. But if BBL take it, it would be everything.
I mean, they're setting themselves up to succeed on this map. They get any sort of investment out of DRX. They already need to win this just based on the buy.
Look how open mid is here. Kushner choosing not to play in mid has just left that area of the map so open.
You can see it. It's being taken now. Space with the drone. All the way deep. Buzz is the one who's taking these angles. They know. Okay.
I'm amazed by
clear
this.
Through here. I mean, not breaking this door. It means, honestly, BBL, I think they've got peace of mind.
BBL are just going for such a hard read that this is going to end up A, though, in my opinion, because once this door does get broken, the players are so far away from rotating and helping.
It's going to be that Astra Wall. Nightfall being used to clear through B main, just so that they get control of both those areas of the map, as they are just going to be dashing in now.
Turco is on an island.
Yeah, this is a lovely bit of util to try and push back anyone who might be helping Turco, but the back of the site buys enough time at the end of the day to try and deal with it. Bit of a play as he pushes back through. Turco still alive and Brave with the TP into the back of the site now could provide much needed backup.
What a paranoia.
Yeah, catches onto Stacks, but pushes down right around the side. What is that? The Prowler in his hands, and still he finds the target. And timing being taken, Aslan tries to make a play, pushing out of the one side of the smoke. He's left it just up to Kushner, running around just trying to get better weaponry for this retake. He knows it's still winnable now. The Odin is in his hands. Not exactly the weapon for the job. A bit of spam down through the walls, but Stacks deals a bit kindly.
What a recovery in that round from DRX. And that was looking dangerous. I wasn't really a fan of how BBL were playing the defense, but I think one thing that I wasn't considering was Brave TPing into backside to go and help Turco. And once there were 2 players back there, it actually started to look a bit rough for DRX.
Yeah.
Stacks, though, with a monstrous kill. Don't know how he pulled that one out.
Really should not have, should he? I mean,
Should
the Prowler
not
was
have
going in
won.
a different direction. He was falling at the same time.
Should not have won the duel against Brave. And I think BBL, if they do end up going out here in this map, are going to be kicking themselves that they weren't able to close out situations like that. They've certainly had chances to win Ascent.
It seems like the adjustment that has been made now by DRX seems to be playing towards his mid control. It's the same drone. Kushner spotted. Just hugging that tight corner. Does he choose to disrespect this one? The dash was used, maybe just to try and fake that he is getting out of there.
Yeah, that's an intriguing one. They're holding a crossfire as well between Kushner and Aslan.
Was the play to try and swing off the alarm bot or what?
You can't.
Broken flash. Kushner was, okay, just about dodges this one. Still holding a close angle, and there was a paranoia just to help out. Trying to reset the aim to try and catch the spray down, but the Vandal in hand doesn't quite make the best weapon for the job.
Oh
And
no!
still DRX are just plucking apart.
It crumbles again!
Yeah, BBL looking for it, but they just swing into it. Aligning. just for Turco to just beam them down.
And what a gift! What a gift that landed on his doorstep. Perfect crosshair placement for the first kill. But, wow, I don't think he'll have been expecting to get the collat there.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite absurd. But a massive one for BBL to win. See how much it means as well to Vlad.
So out of round 18 and 19, both winnable for both teams, they're split 50-50. But with DRX, their economy is in a much worse spot, so it knocks them down. So the result of that 50-50 exchange is still BBL in a great position.
Dodge there, the flash. This is DRX's answer to things with the knives in hand. Anything could be possible with this one. BBL players have to remain cool, calm, and collected, and they are able to at least lock that one down. What a shot by Brave.
Lovely stuff as Sochny cleans up the other players heading into B. A quick dismissal of that eco. And it's only been 2 rounds that DRX have managed to put together on their attack. We're already even.
Struggling, isn't it? It's maybe the question that we were asking earlier, you know, has the practice been split with Zest playing on this roster now when they were making claims like Foxy9 was going to be playing for them? This could be where it rears its head.
It's possible.
End up splitting practice time, don't come as prepared, but
I mean, an 8-4 lead, winning 8 rounds in a row, and a battle again happening in A main here. Oh, that suck is really difficult, and Brave goes for a TP in.
Yep, a lot of damage done. Zest, the soft enough target that the kill is there, and they still want to fight over this one. Beautiful nade into the corner. RB had nowhere to run.
That was a wild series of events.
Yeah, so fast to fight over that.
DRX is still looking to try and contest A main.
And it's just the right amount of disruption. You lose 2 players here. There's only a couple of options really left available to DRX. Some of it landing on the shoulders of Stacks on the other side of the map. You can see him working his way into B main.
Buzz deliberately getting tagged there by the knife to make it feel like there's still presence over towards A. That's going to keep 3 defenders on the A side. But Stacks the IGL, you can see his mouth going there, calling the rest of the players over. What is that alarm bot timing? It's perfect.
Oh,
the Nanoswarm, sorry.
Expect it, yeah. Nanoswarm finding Stacks, forcing him to really just run with his knife out, and now they know. Spike falling, all down to Buzz.
What a round. What a round. Bren, that fight over A main was Turkish Valorant.
Yeah.
They were aggressive, confident, they refused to give up space, and they sought to take the duels. I love the ult that came out there too from Sochny. Fantastic addition. I mean, what you don't quite catch in this replay is Brave just using his teleport into A main.
Yeah.
Just full Chad behavior coming out from BBL.
They have broken the economy once more. DRX not going to be able to get the weaponry. In fact, taking the lead in this map.
Wow. Is it time for the upset alert?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're getting there, man. We're getting there. The community, the narrative surrounding this one, people expecting one of the most one-sided series of lock-in.
And don't get me wrong, Bren, that's what Pearl was.
It looked like it, right? 3 rounds in total, that's what BBL were able to achieve. But now, on the brink, Kushner taking point, quick dash back just to respect the presence, but DRX going for something quite unusual. They did manage to push Buzz into a deeper position. Horn not being dealt with.
Wow.
What is that? Just spotting the target, the smoke in the way, and easily done, easy cleanup. 3 kills for Kushner.
And map point for BBL. Who could have seen this one coming? On a scent of all maps?
No, and I mean, when you look at that first half as well, it was 8-4. Just looked like BBL
Spike down A.
had nothing going for them towards the tail end of this first half, but what a way to bring it back.
And I'll tell you what, Bren, it is dangerous to allow these Turkish players to get their confidence up. Players like Kushner and Brave, Turco as well, I mean, everybody on this roster, if you allow them to get confident, they're going to be swinging more, disrupting your timings more, hitting their shots more. A lot of Valorant can be a confidence game, and that's not going to bode too well for DRX.
This is a must-win round for them if they want to try and have the option of trying to wrap up this series.
Massive ults available. I mean, they can set up, you know, get a little bit of mid control, go for Go for the Cosmic Divide, pop RB's ultimate, and you should have the B site on a bit of a platter. 3 players at the moment, though, from BBL drifting in that direction. BBL are so happy to leave mid. I've never seen a team leave mid open as much as this.
Yeah. I feel like DRX as well have been conditioning pretty heavily that usually that drone that they just used has a player behind it, but how much of that knife spot? That's the question.
I feel like spotting Buzz is enough.
Yeah.
You know that the Jet is going to be following the utility with this comp.
And what is the answer going to be? Nightfall and the Astral Wall. Cosmic Divides are trying to split it up. And all that, look at that, just spamming through the wall to try and punish Buzz. But a nade just being dropped down. Actually trying to catch that timing. Both players now have to anchor to the back. Being dropped down, you have to bide your time, and bide the time they will, but still RB answers back. And DRX, just like that, over in the blink of an eye.
Overtime seems to be on the cards in the same way that it was at Champions for DRX. 1917 was the score, not the year, the score against FPX. And they went to OT as well, I believe against Fnatic, I think? May have been against Optic, but...
Got some experience in these scenarios, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've got experience. But they just used all of their ults. So BBL, yeah, they lost that round, but they drew huge ultimates out of DRX. And now it's all just about pace by the look of it.
Yeah. Grand opportunity presented itself to BBL.
I'm not too much of a fan of where Brave is playing. I would rather they played a retake setup currently, but the paranoia is enough to stop DRX from getting in through the choke point this time around. He's also just thrown the ultimate in there from Turco,
Yeah,
so
null command.
that's a massive ult to stop any kind of fast hit. Maybe they are reluctant to play retake with the operator, but Kushner stars knives.
Good awareness there from Stax, just using the Prowler to make sure that that corner is cleared in case someone was pushed, but BBL now showing that respect. They do give up control of B main.
And what a read from Sochny. He is stacking his players over on the A site.
This is so good. So good. Lockdown's being used towards B just in case it does end up being
Maybe
in that direction, but
maybe a tad early, but
yeah,
still
I
good.
think this gives the option now potentially for the Hunter's Fury to be used to initiate a way in, but Kushner, what a play, what a star. 2 kills as they try and work their way in, eventually just taken out. The door closing denies the kill, still running their way up through. Jenny RB, how do you get that one?
3v3.
Suchny feels like a bit of an overheat.
No way!
How are they not claiming these kills? The refight and the spam and the spray down, all down to Stax. Swarmed from every approach, every angle, and BBL. They're gonna claim map number 2 in this series when everything was...
A lot of it comes down to fault lines and flashes to be able to get your Jet into a pushed up position. And already, actually, you're seeing BBL looking like they want to get really aggressive on the pistol. And this looks like a walk down mid off the back of fault line, flash, pressure towards headshot box.
Yeah, you can see it now being applied. Kushner's not wasting any time. All that util being used, but he is spotted out. Dash still enabled, forced out as well, just from that one fault line.
And so, early little test of how good DRX's default is. BBL come away unscathed, but without a kill of their own.
I love how active Kushner is being as well. He's already pushed in mid. He was spotted in just a moment, a blink of an eye. You're already updrafted onto that high ground angle, but a bit of a reposition now as the players are just rotating around. This crossfire setup that they've got going on in Garage could be quite difficult to break, but see what utility ends up being committed.
Wow, it's so tense, this battle for Garage currently. Smoke goes in and Brave will realize.
Dash enabled, off to the side, and it cuts up the crosshair placement enough.
Whoa, that was
Incredibly
sticky.
laboured, yeah. Really difficult for them. A TP into the back of the site and a bit of run and gun on top. But it does leave it just down to Aslan.
And that is a gutting way for BBL to begin, because so much of how they won on Ascent was powered by winning the pistol round, right? They won pistol follow-up on round 1 and on round 13. And more so than just that, the Brave and Turco duo on Ascent was fantastic. And they're the duo that just fumbled a little bit there in terms of the Garage hold. But it was a hard one to deal with. So that's a pistol round going the way of DRX. And it sets them off on completely different footing compared to the previous map.
Yeah. This is going to be a very different task ahead of them, honestly. The fact that they were able to get those easy rounds in the pistol round set them up quite nicely. Gave them the buffer that they needed at least, but now it's DRX are in the driving seat.
Sochny calling for his team for a gamble stack over towards C. I wonder if they're going to push or do something funky, maybe just sit here quietly.
So they are holding the fault line.
Yeah, take a look at their positioning now. All 5 players from BBL around here. But there's a recon dart being primed. I mean, it does look like there's something set here for BBL.
Possibly just
off the orb?
Yeah, orb being tapped.
There it is.
Nice little swing and face, pushed up. Mako's on the corner, but traded out. The question is, can he reclaim this weapon? It's being guarded ever so slightly. Buzz getting the backup and help with the rest of his team now, so fortunately no prizes to be gained by BBL. It was a cute idea though.
It was a nice idea, a little set play to make your eco round have a bit more of a sting to it. I think DRX are going to be able to just come away with this one fairly easily. A commitment into C doesn't have Brave or Sochny in a position where they can do too much damage. Unless Brave is able to wrap really fast, but the flank should be watched.
Yeah, Lambot's there, in fact.
It certainly is being watched.
Yeah, even if it didn't catch the contact, so.
It is cool, though, to see Sochny call rounds like this. When you are an inexperienced IGL stepping onto the stage for the first time, battling against a team that you know is more proven than you.
Yeah.
You don't want to admit that they're better than you, but you know that there's more evidence for that.
They've got the experience, they've been deeper in tournaments.
Yeah, but when IGLs tend to be in that position, it's pretty common to just freeze up, to forget your own game plan, to not call anything aggressive. And I think what we've really seen on Ascent, we didn't see that on Pearl. They really did freeze up. But on Ascent, we started to see them get proactive, get Kushner into really aggressive positions, try some set strats out. And it looks like they're trying to begin Haven on a similar foot.
Yeah, bit of an evolution, you know, adding the layers to the game plan. Without a doubt, no, I completely agree. I think Sochny's addition has been quite good to them, because BBL always that team. They've got the individuals. Kushner, how long have we talked about it? You know, the Turkish Jet, this guy's able to just make magic out of nothing, but when you get to these really high-level end-of-tournament matches, when you're up against the best in the world, let's face it, listen, DRX, one of the favorites to potentially win the whole of lock-in.
Might have to address that expectation as we get later on in Haven. Not even guaranteed to make the next round.
Not just yet.
Oh, this is aggressive from Turco and Brave, that duo again.
It's a double peek, Mako. Just holding the corner, TP's to safety. And that smoke just puts a dampener on anything that they were attempting to try and get aggressive.
It really is so aggro. From an Astra and a Breach.
Oh, that's just a bait as well. A close jiggle, Buzz takes the fight as well, just swinging at a slightly wider angle. The site is theirs for the taking.
But this is going to be a very tough retake. BBL are anticipating winning this round, but no recon dart. Turco's got to provide all of the utilities.
Whoa! This is absolute chaos now, but he's dropped himself down, is dealt with.
No one else on his team was ready to go, though.
Yeah, I felt like it was odd. It was just holding in that position, but...
Was that a misclick? Did he fall out of the window rather than deliberately go for it? I don't know whether he tried to find a timing or what there.
Caught unaware, I suppose, by the smoke fading, but I did think it was a bit unusual that he was holding in there.
Brutal start to the map from BBL, the exact opposite of what they were hoping for.
Yeah.
And what they had been able to achieve. There's that little... You know,
I mean, that's just great movement.
Yeah, bait and switch, basically, that Sochny falls for. Most of the time when you grab a bit of information there, you just need to leave instantly.
Now drop down to those weaker weapons. Nothing quite so much as a stack like BBL were trying on their last eco, but holding with a nice little crossfire. Dash up, close and personal, straight through, and a bit of a disengage, just trying to catch the sightline onto Aslan there, just weaving in and out, back and forth. Plant's going to go down without too many issues, especially as the smokes start to dissipate.
And DRX have just gone for such a simple approach to this round, keeping it safe and showcasing one of their C execs. Prime Gaming flawless. Now here's the question, can BBL pick themselves up and come out with a response? All of their aggressive movements in the early round have failed. If you look at what was working for them on Ascent, their early round game was really powerful. They were up +6 in first kills to first deaths on Ascent against DRX. And a lot of that, like you said, Bren, was how aggressive and proactive Kushner was playing. He was involved in 44 duels on that map.
That's ridiculous. That is actually absurd.
That's almost 2 a round.
Yeah. He's more than a spearhead at that point. He's the entire bloody weapon, but now we see them with guns in their hands. So BBL, that's an opportunity. But again, look at this pace that's being injected into it. DRX not wasting any time. The back of the site. Needs to be a 1-5 for Aslan, but he just does not catch it.
It's a great read from Aslan as well. Oh no.
And it's fallen to pieces. Just a bit of a miracle play from Brave as he does manage to just beam down 2 players lined up for them. But will anything else be offered for them? Has brought them into this 2v2. Now the aftershock. Lovely angle that's been forced and collecting themselves just for the moment. Now to defuse. Being stuck half on it already. It's up to RB to see if he can deny. One after the other! There's no shot in hell.
Oh, that is a heartbreaker for BBL. The round started so terribly for them, and yet through sheer heroics coming out from Brave and then Soshni on the site as well, they had actually got themselves into a winning position until RB drove a dagger into their backs.
Yeah,
I mean, how many times have we seen RB playing Killjoy on this map coming out with something ridiculous? The Red Bull clutch, I mean, just one of many.
You're me speechless.
He's 8-0.
Yeah. Just insanity. Heartbreaking for BBL.
And
Really did bring that one from the...
Completely momentum stopping too.
Yeah. And what's their answer? I mean, that was the round that they needed to win. The full investment of the money still dropped down to the lighter buy once more. They do have ults to work with, but the question is, I mean, you don't really want to be investing him into a round like this unless it does seem feasible. And here we go. They hit a close drone. They know they can catch at least one of the players. In fact, the 2 players that were at the back of the site, stunned up, left crawling, trying to escape. But Suchny will be the first one down.
Putting some pressure on the DRX economy is now really important. They've just got far too much money. DRX are going to be able to buy for round upon round upon round.
Oh, it's a stun play with the updraft. That's what they want to go for. Kushner is waiting for it. There's the fault line, and here's the double updraft, but no targets spotted. And it's a beautiful dart timing. Just Zest ready for it as well. Small piece of utility to push back any sort of approach that BBL might try and come up with, and crumbling to pieces. All the options.
And the end result of that round is that only Zest needs to buy armor. So clean, so perfectly, unbelievably clean from DRX. The Prime Gaming Flawless doesn't even begin to cover it. It's an understatement. This is straight back to map 1. I don't know if DRX got a stiff talking to or what in the back end, you know, between maps, but they've come out with a fire lit underneath them.
I think a bit of a wake-up call as well. Listen, there's no team you can really underestimate in this event.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can deliver an upset. I think with the normal double elimination format, that becomes less true, but with this single elim stuff, 32 teams, man, it really does feel like any given Sunday sometimes.
Sure. But this is a different scenario for BBL. I mean, listen, they've been on the brink before. You think about that first half on Ascent where it was 8-4. They managed to come back in that scenario. So they've definitely got the fortitude to be able to at least bring it back.
So drone coming out there from Zest, looking towards A, and that has actually pulled Kushner over to the right-hand part of the map, which is rough. Where on earth is this one going?
Yeah, that is an odd dart.
Okay, show me this dart.
Where does that land?
Where does it land?
Where is that going? All the way to the back of the site?
He's bounced it off a tree.
Yeah, and Zest can just hold the flank from that one as well.
That is unusual. Can't say I've ever seen that one before.
Be watched for though. Now that lockdown, DRX placing it. The Hunter's Fury is used as an answer to it, but 3 bursts eventually enough to break it. They did end up losing Brave in the process. This reflank timing is everything. Kushner trying to take an easy fight, but it won't be awarded to him. It won't be in the slightest. 7th round on the board for DRX. That's going to be the buy. Broken once more for BBL.
And another facet that was working so perfectly for BBL on Ascent is that they always had the read on where DRX were finishing. I'm not there in the comms with them, and frankly, if I was, I couldn't understand Turkish anyway.
Not that talented.
No, uncultured and untalented, actually. But what was working for them is that Sojny was able to get them to do that, because RB had used a post-plant lockdown, and things were getting very hairy.
Yeah.
It just takes time away. Once more, Brave and Turco going for a push. I think they've been spotted.
Yeah, but it's going to be the smoke up close. I think that's just to try and fight for a bit of that control. It's Brave's own smoke that he ended up popping off there, but you got to remember, maybe a little play to see if they could get anything with, again, the weaker buy. Drop down to just the pistols.
And they're stacking the A site. And that's not where it is. You know, again, going off the Sova drone. Zest Sova drones towards short, and that calls the 4-player stack to A. And it's just not the right read. It might be against quite a lot of other teams. Not against DRX, not today.
Yeah, not too much trending towards that A lobby. Utility dumped in. Last-ditch effort there by Brave. Just paying for it with his life, obviously. Just jumping into the smoke to see if he can get anything done, but plan once more. Drop down, playing those post-plant positions. Lovely stun, but Buzz does offset it. Tries to play in the smoke there, gets his head taken off once more. Lovely pop flash play and clean up crossfire.
And you're starting to see why, in rounds like these and the ones before, why Stax is considered the grandfather of Breach.
Yeah.
Because everything is just exactly where he wants it. Pixel perfect, all of the utility followed up on too. Yinsu was talking about Ascent being the Turkish map. This is the map I most strongly associate with DRX.
Yeah.
It's not always their best map, but it was just their home territory, their style, it all just worked so well here. By the way, RB still hasn't died. Just if we want to keep a running note of that.
Yeah, okay.
My God, how this feels instantly like map 1 again. All the wind taken out from BBL's sails.
Left scrambling, looking for those options. That's shocky.
There goes
Clears
the alarm
bot.
Zest has been in the lab.
Yeah,
maybe some time on the bench has helped him just look up lineup videos and
just
stuff.
been cooking.
Yeah.
Just been cooking, hasn't he? A steep A lobby push from BBL. They are holding this in a couple of angles. It's Suchny that looks like he's going to be the one who takes contact. And if this does go now towards A lobby, drone cleared. Yeah, it has to be broken. Does pushes back, but DRX, they're going to be disciplined enough to realize that it could be a player. Looks like they are trying to go clear it, but not a lot else being used. No utility. That's Kushner playing off of his teammate in particular really well. Zest was just staring at the ground like a Yoru decoy for some reason. Mako just trying to pick up the pieces.
A TP all the way into the C site. Oh, and he gets denied. Great play from Aslam Machado.
There's time enough in a round, though, with 20 seconds, but they know where the spike is going to be. Last known location, just in A lobby. There's only a few more places they really can go.
But every avenue is cut off to them here.
Yeah.
10 seconds left.
They have
broken.
They have generational wealth to work with, though. So DRX can definitely commit to this one.
Take these fights. Inside the smoke, a bit of spam just to try and break it up. RB, can he pull off the impossible once more? One found, but luckily the coverage is there. And finally, BBL. They get that round on the board.
But their economy is still in shambles. Brave and Turco with only the 3,000 credits to their name, essentially. So DRX have still done damage to them. And that was RB's first death, though, so that's good. He's only 14-1. Fantastic play, though, from Kushner, just on an individual level to lock down this area for such a length of time and set his team up for the win. But I don't think that's replicable.
No, it really was decided, I think, off the fact that DRX wanted to go towards A lobby. Most of the time, they haven't really been putting that pressure on. And the Haven meta is just kind of developing. Usually you see teams, you know, they dump that util into it, fault line something else, push a player up deep so they have that information, just like you're seeing here. It's a dart, so Kushner can get into this close angle. But usually off the back of this, you want to rotate players away, you know? It's a bit of a tell that they're not going to be dedicating anyone towards that area of the map.
Both shock darts getting used to break the alarm bot, and for whatever reason, it didn't hit the one in garage. It looked good, but the lineup just didn't land.
BBL setup, they're not... I mean, here's the thing, they haven't been punished, actually, for this. Despite that, I mean, they're still sticking with 3 players holding close in a lobby. Only now you're seeing Turco rotate, but DRX were expecting at least a player to be close.
I mean, they have fantastic B retake ults, right? The breach ult is just amazing from Turco. The only problem is if they sneak through the A connector, but DRX are instead going for a C split.
The smoke popped off here. Now, ultimate being used potentially to fight this. The lockdown has put a dampener on it. So they still want to commit this now. Yeah, well, that's RB. Where did he find that one? Ult popped off to the side. The Astral Wall was laid down with a Cosmic Divide, but it does little to stop again. DRX just barreling their way through onto the site.
Wow, so important that the lockdown was broken there. You could hear them communicating it. And this is now really tough. Kushin has got to deliver the goods.
And timing is everything. There's a dart into the back. He knows where one of them is remaining. It's Mako still locking it down and down to Suchny. The attacking lockdown, he can't quite find it. There's no angle in sight for him to break that one. DRX claiming once more another, not letting it get out of their hands just yet.
And that's an awesome mid-round decision from DRX. They decide to go through garage, and they're met with a lockdown in their face. Aslan just immediately puts it down. Great idea, good counter from BBL. And you can see on the player POV of Stax, talking to the rest of his team, asking, can we break this? Can we break this? Should we commit with the breach ult? And he's getting fed information from the rest of his team, makes the call as the IGL to commit to it, lockdown broken, and they get in onto the site. Everything happens so quickly with these top-level teams. I love that. BBL using the Vision Strikers strat. The flash and dash out into grass. If you can't beat them, join them.
Well, that time ago when they were really put on the map, I think, from plays like that. We're seeing it. Fast take now towards A. I saw him at his feet, but Buzz again just disrespecting it. Glimmers and echoes of it. You can see attempts are there. There was an updraft from Kushner as well, but the players dropping still one after the other. Even a shorty just running at them. And what can Brave do? Tries to pick up a bit of an upgrade, but god damn these shock darts. Just not even given an inch.
And it looks like Termi, the DRX head coach, gave an absolute dressing down between these two maps and told them, unless you beat BBL even more emphatically than you did on Pearl, I'll send you home myself.
Big putting you on the early flight. Forfeit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just forfeit the rest of our game.
This has been just an absolute battering.
Oh, it's been brutal to watch. And I think from BBL's point of view, when you're faced with an opponent like this in a game like this, you can't even be that mad.
No.
You're like, okay, we just got comprehensively, unbelievably outplayed, and hell, at least we got a map off them.
The comfort zone for them. Trying to play inside. The Cloudburst Brave. He survives for now, but not much longer. The Hunter's Fury is used to just try and clear the way.
Oh, no way.
2 kills.
Also get Aslan. There's no way.
Suchny, this is the desperation. Final round, might as well use them. The ultimate's one after the other. Doesn't get too much done. The aftershock pushing into the corner, into the angle. On the flank, Kushner. Let's get the 1 kill, but down to that 2v3.
Last player standing.
How can they make this happen? 45 seconds left and just spraying it down. A bit of panic in the play. 11-1 will be that half score line.
That is a really difficult one to come back from.
Yeah,
That
I would
is
say
tough.
so.
And I think a lot of people will have been...
Honestly, perfect gameplay from BBL to be able to mount any sort of comeback. They have 1 round as a buffer.
Yeah.
Not wasting too much time. That's a Nana Swarm drop down. What an opening. Okay. Kushner really fighting hard for that one. Just running his way right down. And now to squeeze that one player that was Mako holding into short. Cleaned up momentarily. Faster play to still. Stax tries to drop down to catch a cheeky timing. But there's the pistol round 1 at least.
And I think I have slightly a different perspective to Seth on the desk, where I don't really think BBL need that many more rounds to feel happy about what they've accomplished. Their pistol rounds have looked good. They've actually been able to win a bunch of those. And they've taken a map away from one of the favorites for the tournament too. It is just going to be so unbelievably impossible for them to win this map and claw their way back from a deficit like this.
Yeah.
But I think they can just soak it in, enjoy being here.
Taking the experience of it. That's for certain. You're all right, Josh. You know, a certain level of pride, I think, for them being able to go toe-to-toe with a team like DRX on Ascent. The fact that they were able to take that one away from them.
There's a lot of pride involved in just being on your team for partnership, right? Making it to that 1% of the Valorant pros that are representing their team, their region, etc. For BBL, their country too, at that top level.
Mostly just really trajectory, I think, of a team like BBL. Now getting deeper into what's left of the series and potentially on the other side of this tournament.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were completely counting them out, and that's not what's happened today.
No. Showcase that do have a lot to play for still. That's a lot of utility being used, but nothing to clear into short.
Zest has just slipped his way into short.
They gotta know this isn't cleared, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think you really expect the Sova to be tucked.
Aslan is watching just that one extremity.
Last player standing.
I don't think Zest is going to be able to win the 1v5 with the Classic, though.
Yeah, seems unlikely. He's making it look like a bit more than a Classic.
He gave it a good try, didn't he?
He really did, yeah.
Trust me.
Okay, BBL with a bonus. BBL with another 5 rounds after that. And then we can start
talking about it?
Then we can start talking.
Okay. Yeah, at this point it's still far too early days, I think.
Yeah.
Just not enough room for error when it comes to it. It literally has to be perfect from here on out.
I think this is a good time, though, to showcase what you've got on the world stage, right?
Yeah.
I think a good opportunity to show people that they shouldn't count you out for future tournaments, for EMEA, VCT, you know, that kind of stuff.
I think the evolution of this team as well, you know, BBL in the past have been, the descriptive term that I've used has been quite one-dimensional, I think, in the way that they thought about the game, the way that they played the game with overall game plans. But the addition of Suchny as an IGL, I think I already see it paying dividends with that Ascent map.
Yeah, it's a promising start, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've definitely got things that they can come away being happy about. So moving their way forwards here, just a little bit of poking and prodding towards Garage, as DRX have still managed to hold on to that spot. RB's turret not getting broken. Seems like that would have been a major win for BBL's macro game. And heading back, pushing Buzz away from the angle. Buzz, though, not calling for any reinforcements just yet. And that is going to throw BBL off, because you would definitely assume that Zest or Stax would have rotated A. And actually, now they do. It's just a little later. But here's where you see Sochny actually, you know, helping them come up with good game plans, because they're reading that move, knowing that there's going to be more players over towards A, and hitting the weak side of the map.
Well, here we go. Hit coming through, dart into the back. Dash forwards, but not enough spam damage, and look at the absolute mountain of utility. Mako is so uncomfortable, but RB returning fire. Left down to Aslan. Position is not quite known just yet, but looks like Mako is relatively aware, and that is going to be the 12th round gained. No more room for error at all for BBL. It's going to be that match point, that series point for DRX.
And if DRX's goal was to make it just as dominant as Pearl, they would have to convert in this one coming up right now. 13-3. Let's see what they got for us. I think a lot of people are going to be watching DRX and feeling really good about the way that they've performed here on Pearl and Haven, assuming that they can close out the map fairly quickly here. So a bit of a lobby control from Buzz, from Zest, really pushed up. This is dangerous.
Very dangerous. Only the 1-for-1 on defense side. It's not the most ideal outcome.
We've seen Crashies go for a Sovereign from this position that got so much value, but Zest decides to play it a little more slowly. He's getting himself into some really tricky positions over a short. Not the best spot for a Sova to play.
Yeah. A lot of it
they
off the
are
back
unexpected.
Mako smokes, honestly, have been doing the most as well. Just an extra layer in play, making sure that they can't quite clear it, but there we go. Now the presence is met pound for pound. RB just trying to push them back. Not able to do so. Spike is going to go down now, and it is just left up to Mako, who's going to opt into the save. Percentage
BBL
plays.
still with life in them.
Yeah.
Making this one a closer game than Pearl. DRX are going to have to take another eco here and still figure things out. I don't know how far Buzz is along to his ultimate, actually.
He might be able to scramble a bye together.
Yeah, might be able to go for something weird, but I don't see really why you would. Doesn't make sense to take risks and let BBL back into the game.
Yeah.
But that was off the back of breaking Buzz's really extended position. And then Zest also choosing to take a really odd position, in my opinion. There's a Sova pushing close there up on short. You're not able to get value out of any of your utility when the sight hit comes through. And he didn't really have a teammate to play off either.
Yeah. I feel like the composition as well that DRX are playing is, I mean, it's particularly good for retakes. You have great tools, the Paranoia, the Dart, all the breach utility as well to clear out hell. If you do want to play retake on A, it's more than viable. When you're playing short like that, any good team is going to be cleared you out.
Definitely true.
We'll see if they adjust their game plan though.
Singular rifle from Mako, who saved it in the previous round. And this is where BBL should be able to convert. I've seen so many situations like this though, Bren, where teams need to get a comeback and it all falls to pieces on a thrifty.
It's these rounds that are the dangerous ones. Now you should be thinking, you know, percentage-wise, should be favored. With the rifles, one taking contact. That is an incredibly wide angle to be taken with a shorty, son. Not getting into the montage of that one.
No, that one's not touching it. Adobe Premiere.
All well and good though. Flick of the wrist from Stacks.
And it's not going to be this thrifty round.
Yeah.
Not now, not today, says BBL. Getting a 5th on the board. And making their attack side look fairly decent. They look coordinated, they have game plans. They've kept it fairly simple too, I would say, in round 16, round 17. Just flushing out A. That's where most of the fighting is happening right now, around that A lobby area. But maybe BBL will have a different idea with the ults on board. Breach ult is also really good towards A, though.
Yeah, it is.
Right here. I'll find them.
Quite fantastic, but...
Oh, a little dash down short play this looks like. This recon dart lands at the top of short.
So, is there going to be a punish here onto Buzz?
Doesn't look like it, actually.
No, he's out of the line of sight of it, so he's not going to get revealed.
And he didn't get contested by Kushner. Normally teams will sync that up with a jet dash or something like that to put early pressure down short.
I think he's got them contained though, hasn't he? Okay, Kushner's just trying to dash a punish! And that's a stun up, just to try and bail out Zest. To claim the kill. Brave does make it even though.
It's a good punish, and Suchni's leading the team all the way over to C instantly.
That's a
Look at
good
that,
call.
great read.
Yeah.
Great read, great call. Haven's just got so many opportunities for IGLs to show their worth, right? You see people like FNS, for example, it's like a playground for him.
Yeah. Always
And you're getting
associated with that.
You're getting a little flavor of this here too. Oh, Mako has got himself into a wild spot though. And RB pays for it.
Yeah, I mean, TPing into the smoke caused him to spam it. It was RB, like you said, paying for that. Unfortunate indeed, but that lockdown pushing him back. Brave just skirting the outside of it. Aslan is going to be detained, but the spike is dropped down. Now, just how dangerous does this get? With Mako low, and the money also low, looks like DRX are opting again into that percentage play.
Yeah. And BBL have all the ults to stop this. There's literally a 0% chance that Zest and Mako could win this.
Yeah, I mean...
you know, you've got a reflank coming out from Brave, which they were aware of, but also the Sova ult, Breach ult that can stop you. And at that point, if DRX chose to commit, it would just be to pull out Sochni and Turco's ults. And instead, I think the better option is to just keep the Vandals alive. It adds so much more danger to your eco rounds.
The difference this half has been...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Brent, we're kind of getting to the
We're
point
getting
where...
close. What did you say? Was it 8 rounds?
I said they had to win, what was it, round 15 and 5 more, something like that?
Which I think would have brought it up to around 8 in total. So 7 or 8. Never do maths on broadcast because you will look like an idiot. But
Yeah.
it was around that number, you know, like...
Yeah, it would have brought it up to 9, but that's fine. It would, I mean, 8 is nearly 9.
It was a rounding error from me, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Operator on the board here for DRX. That Zest is using
This is so bizarre.
What is
Okay.
going on here?
Yep. And these are the rounds you need to be careful of. Despite the buy being a bit weak, I think it's because Buzz ends up having his ult to play with. The Blade Storm. Hunter's Fury is beautiful. Does trade it out. But it's still a bit of a weird one. Any sort of mistake. And you never know with these kind of rounds. Your series, your tournament life just could be over in the blink of an eye. But BBL offered a nice uncontested plan. Buzz with the knife, still looking to contest, and then you see that Turkish confidence coming through once more with the gunplay. Unwavering faith in their teammates, able to just solidly clean up the remaining members there of DRX.
Yeah, and despite the fact that DRX had some dangerous weaponry, the operator, Buzz with his knives, you know, it was still a half buy, but it had a lot of power behind it. BBL is still really clean.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie, Brad, if BBL win this next round, I think...
Now it's within the sight line. Got to start to believe in this one, but every single round is so hard. What a hurdle, because, again, no room for mistakes. Has to be perfect.
C is left completely open right now.
A whole lot of utility being used, including their own breach ult, which catches onto the side of Kushner. The guy is being rattled around the back of the site like no one's business. Now the Swarm dropped into just the corner of it, pushes him into an unfavorable angle, and he is dealt with enough. But BBL with the rifle still swinging through. Stacks might have just put an end to it. Weaving his way into the site, and it's all down to Brave. In just a blink of an eye, it all comes down to this. He finds the one target. Little smoke drop down, consumes it to give him the sightline angle, but Buzz will be the finisher.
And it was a valiant effort from BBL, make no mistake about that. But DRX were in control of this series. It got a bit shaky, for sure on map 2, arguably map 3.